Welcome to Speakernomics, the official podcast of the National Speakers Association. Created by speakers for speakers. It's your fast track to sharper skills, bigger impact, and a smarter speaking business. Subscribe and download using the link below. And step into the spotlight.
Dr. Celina Peerman is an organizational psychologist, a leadership strategist, and a certified speaking professional who has spent over 30 years helping organizations build strong leaders and healthier workplaces. With more than 24,000 hours on stage across many industries, she's known for blending research, real-world application, and humor to help leaders navigate change, uncertainty, and growth. Celina is the founder of the Peerman Group and creator of multiple leadership development programs, including on-demand learning systems used by organizations across the country. She's also the author of 4 books, a 2-time TEDx presenter, and with a team of 7 based in Iowa, continues to look for ways to help companies navigate a world of disruption and uncertainty. Celina, welcome to Speakernomics.
Thank you so much, Gina.
Well, delighted to have you, and I'd love to hear more about how did you find NSA and why has that been important to you? I know you're newer to the association world of speakers, but you've been speaking a long time. So what is it about NSA that has been important to you?
You know, I have referenced over the last couple of years, wow, this would have been easier or better for me to find about 20 years ago, right? That when I was making that leap from my full-time to going out on my own, like these resources would have been amazing, but I didn't. So I stayed within my HR circles. I stayed within my training circles. And then I will say, as maybe it was meant to be, but it was one summer. It was before the Influence conference in Nashville. I literally saw an ad. So I've told NSA, you know, those ads worked out on Facebook. I saw an ad. I signed up within about 60 seconds of seeing the ad, signed up, booked everything, showed up a month later. And it was really just this unknown for me. But when I was trying to reposition the business and think about what my next steps were coming up, it landed when it needed to. And admittedly, showing up at Influence was kind of an overwhelming first time. Like, what did I just get myself into? But it was the people I met. And it was even one example, John Lockhorse out of Minnesota NSA chapter reached out and said, hey, Iowa, well, come join us in Minnesota and come have dinner with us. And, you know, I think that's been the gracious gratitude that in so many ways, NSA just completely matched what I was looking for, and a community in which I could not only stretch my skills, but just continue to be supportive of others.
Oh, I love that. And I'm so grateful that I did find NSA more than 20 years ago. And I very seriously say that pretty much every good thing in my life has come from NSA, from someone that I met or some program that I attended or an idea that I got. It's just been wonderful experience for me as well. So I'm so glad that you're here. And yes, I know it can be hard to blend into a new tribe, to jump right in, but it's great that you did. So I want to hear more about your business model, because I think that's a little different than many of the speakers that that are in NSA. And I think there's definitely something to learn here about your model and how it's changed over the years.
Yeah, so I've been full-time on my own now for 20 years. So I think for newer speakers who are trying to figure out how to give up that day job, right, building it on the side little by little. And for some who may never make the switch, it may just continue to be something that supplements or allows them to focus on things. When I made that move to full-time, it was a way for me to continue my training work. I was adjuncting, teaching at the college level and the graduate level, but it allowed me to build out the speaking business for those first couple of years where you're like, I don't know, did I make the right choice? And I had little kids at home and a budget to meet. And so it very much, training has always been a part of my professional career, HR and operations, prior to making the move to professional speaking. And over these years, it's evolved. It's just been me. I've brought on other speakers. I've gone back to just me, to bring on a team, or what we like to call an entire village that keeps me going. You know, I think for professional speakers who want to make an impact through the words we share. There are so many different types of rooms and stages you can make an impact on professionally. And so our current model is I mix between main staging anywhere in the world, all the way through. I will show up at local companies in their training rooms to lead conversations, to meet with senior teams, to train frontline, all about how do we help organizations improve and people learn. And so I do that in a variety of ways. Most of my work is in corporate, and that has been a space that has served me well for 30 years and the last 20 full time doing this.
Oh, I love it. That is so powerful. And it's so good. As you're saying, you expand sometimes, you bring on trainers, perhaps you bring on new people, try different processes, and you're constantly experimenting because some things work, some things are profitable, but you don't like them.
Yeah.
Some things aren't profitable, but you love them. And so it's a constant
Yeah.
balance as an entrepreneur, as a speakerpreneur, of trying to figure out what's going to work best for you and your clients.
I love your point on that, right? I think we need to make it okay to talk about there are different kinds of stages. There are different kinds of ways to do this work. And I think it's really important that speakers understand that you can shift, and it's okay to shift because the world around us is shifting. Therefore, we also need to adjust.
Very good. Are there additional lessons that you'd like to share with speakers for their journey, for especially as it relates to the business model?
Sure. I think many of the things that NSA has helped me with over the last couple of years are just reminding me and solidifying how important it is to run a good business, right? Probably could have used that even better 20 years ago. Learn through some lumps along the way, but finding those people who are experts at what they do that you might not be an expert in, whether that's accounting and finance or other types of marketing, identify those earlier, right? Maybe it's an admin. My model's been different. I have part-time employees on with me. We've had full-time employees as well, but those are the folks that are highly specialized in their field, and they like coming on with me, and we build that out. But those just good, sound business practices that's so present in the NSA vault of videos, right? That's available at our conferences. Wow, there's so many lessons there. And I really think about just that advice around there are lots of different voices. Be true to your own. That comparisonville of, I don't know, I'm not like that, is real. And even when you've been around for a while, it still sneaks in every once in a while. Like, that's not my style. That's okay. But be your best version. Like, run a good business, manage your stage presence, take care of those relationships, but be true to you. Just be your best version.
Love that. Yes, there's so much about the speaking business that speakers don't often think about in advance. They know they love to get on stage, they love to make people laugh and learn and have fun and get their message across. And then, oh, I got to sell. Oh, somebody has to count the money. Somebody has to pay the bills. Somebody has to make all these arrangements. Somebody has to do all these things that can be difficult and a little overwhelming. And that's where our association, I think, I agree, has been so helpful, because there's always someone there. And the vault that you just mentioned is such a treasure trove of information that if you need a contract, if you need to see what somebody else said about starting a membership program or many things, it's there. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have a lot of great resources there. So if you don't know about the NSA Vault and you're watching this program, Speakernomics, National Speakers Association, just look it up and contact us and ask. Well, you mentioned your style, and I know that one of the things that you've become known for recently, and your nickname is the Queen of Hand Gestures, and I'm doing a few myself.
Are in this show, right? So they got to come out here. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
So it has been a running joke with my family for years. You know, a good picture would show up and it would catch me somewhere mid-sentence with hands going all over the place. And really, I have followed physical comedy my entire life. I have watched comedy, studied comedy, and even though it's not my lane, I draw from it. And so my family has made fun of this for years. Like a picture would show up and they go caption this, right? And it became a whole contest thanks to Facebook with my family and my friends. And then Leanne Christie, most recently at the Global Speaker Summit in Cairns, Australia, I had been on main stage and I had done a piece around delivering content. So one of my areas of passion is not just stage presence, but how you break down really complex concepts or topics, but do it with some physical presence. So these become visual aids, right? And she recorded it and then dubbed it, I guess would be the phrase, gave me a new nickname of Queen of Hand Gestures. So I guess I am adopting that, but I'm really proud of just learning the craft of I move on stage very deliberately based on what I'm delivering and helping people visually see it, not just hands, but letting them put maybe a tough topic off to the side while we deal with this, like really using not just on stage, but in rooms of whether I'm standing, whether I'm sitting, whether I'm on a stool, whether I'm moving across the stage. That's been a really important part of me illustrating key concepts so that people match them visually and then can walk out the door with them.
Oh, I love that. And overall, I guess that's under the category of the physicality of speaking, which a lot of times people don't really think about, but it is so important.
I agree, because we work so hard on our content, right? Whether you're using visual slides, whether you're using other kinds of materials that people hang on to, and we focus on the words. But those words will land better if we really think about the way that we deliver them.
How did you learn to do that, or did it just come naturally to you? It sounds like it's a combination.
A combination. I'm a preacher's kid, so I grew up with, a model in a pulpit, and my father for years demonstrating it very differently, but there's certainly some carryover there, and miss him dearly on that. I love comedy. I mentioned that. I've been follower of physical comedians and physical actresses or actors for a long time. I did some theater along the way, but it was never my main focus. It was just always something that I felt drawn to in terms of how we bring content out with our full self, not just our voice is good. I love voice, and if it's audio only, that's different, but ways that we show up for people and bring them into the experience because we're in the experience.
Yeah. Over the years, I've taken some stand-up workshops and classes, not because I wanted to do stand-up, but because I wanted to be funnier on stage. And that old adage, do you need to be funny to be a professional speaker? And the answer is no, only if you want to get paid, right? Because people don't want to be bored. They need humor.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that. So one of my pieces of advice is to take those improv courses, to pick up some of those, not because you may want to do stand-up comedy, but improv was never one of my favorites. Like I freeze. You get me out of my content zone, I'm a nervous wreck. But just to work on those skills, to be able to sharpen them so that I can switch quickly, or something unexpected, or something that's presented that I need to respond to. Those have been great skills to work on over the years.
Very good. Well, speaking of audiences, they don't want to be bored. They also don't want to just be motivated. They want more engagement. And what have you done to design your content so that the audience is more engaged and so that the message really sticks?
Yeah. Early on when I was tapped on by actually it's Angela Cox Goebel, Midwest Speakers Bureau, who was one of the first people who introduced me to the idea of professional speaking. It was this idea around I'm good at content, and I like I'm a scholar practitioner, so I've done the academic work, but my interest has always been taking a look at the data. And I often say applying a sense of humor and then figuring out how we actually apply it in real life. So I have brought that approach to any program I deliver around how do you take it and break it down? So we used to think about in how adults learn, you break it down into 20-minute sections, you deliver a concept, you let them work on it, you do a debrief. Well, as you can know, and I bet you see examples of this yourself, people's attention spans are getting shorter, right? So then we talked about micro learning for some years where it was 5 minutes or less, kind of think of like a YouTube channel style learning. And now we're even adjusting more to TikTok comes out with TikTok Learn so that you learn a concept in 60 seconds. And I'm like, whew. So I always say to speakers, layer, right? What's your key idea? How are they going to identify or connect with it? And how do you reinforce it? And literally any program you see of mine, that's what I'm reinforcing. Now, I'm not doing it every minute because that might cause some unofficial whiplash in there of like, where's she now? But to break it down and really, I think as speakers, we need more work on adult learning principles and how we actually get adults to absorb it. Because if they can't remember it when they walk out of the room, if they can't apply it to what they need to on Monday morning, then we haven't had the full impact we could have. And so just breaking down content in bite-sized chunks, that reinforcement, the application is what I just continue to aim for.
How do you know if they got it? How do you know if it's stuck?
Yeah. A lot of times we don't, right? Now we try to measure it in multiple ways. What are the vibes in the room? What are they taking notes on? I love the new measurement. What are they taking pictures on these days if it's on the screen? What are they being able to talk to somebody else about? What are our follow-up steps after that session? So, we've got a lot of examples within the NSA community where we're talking about what's the aftercare, right? What are we doing to be able to reinforce that afterwards? So if I get a 1 hour on a stage, I want to be able to offer value and do a recording or doing a live virtual later. So anytime I can reinforce that, I've got a better chance that that's stuck. What's hard for many of us as speakers, if we're in and out, is we never get that measurement. So certainly the after event conversation, we certainly see tools like Talkadot. I'll use some other ones like Slido where they're giving me real-time data of what they're applying. And then I got some slides and some stats. I did one the other day, and out of that group of 100, I had 88 people tell me what they got out of it and could capture it right then. And that became then a value added back to the client. So then they had what their biggest challenges were and how they were going to apply this. So use the tools that are out there is another way to think about that.
Ooh, that's very powerful. And you measured that using a tool called Slido, is that right?
That one is particular Slido. There's some other ones like Mentimeter, but ways to capture that audience participation, not for just live engagement, because we know that helps in the moment when I see it, hear it, put my hands on it in the moment. But then we've got some data points to say, hey, they identified, here were the top challenges this group's experiencing. What's our after action plan?
Okay. And well, you may have just answered this question then.
Oh, okay.
Do you talk about your after action plan, your aftercare program, pre-speaking in the initial stages, or is it only afterwards? When do you present that idea to the meeting planner?
My style has been little bits before. Consider, look for, what might be some ways that are helpful for you. I admit, and I often think this is probably not my strength. I wish it would be different, but it's been consistent now for years. When I'm in the moment, and shortly before and after, all the ideas are coming. So while I would love to come up with them all in advance, it's just not how my brain works. So I have learned certainly to dribble them in with consider this. Do you have a plan for this? Let's talk about it afterwards. Then the event, I'm all fired up. I've done the prep, my head's in it. And once I see the audience, right, that just makes a huge difference. Then I will follow up with recommendations. And that for me has just worked with how I'm wired.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, our speaking businesses are constantly evolving. I understand you have a bit of a shift or a pivot going on right now. Tell us about that.
So for us, it has been, my model has been a combination of both main staging. I'm most interested in the future of how organizations are going to evolve. So there's a little bit of futurist in there. There's a little bit of organizational systems and how we create effective workplaces, quite frankly, to keep our organizations strong within our communities. So I've had a body of work around that. While I've done some research in the past, I haven't done it in the way that I wanted to with my business. Here's where I don't know, about every year and a half, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little shorter, where something just shifts in what's the focus? What topics are we concentrating on? And whether that's been with other people on my team or a different emphasis, currently what we're doing, and I'm so excited about it, is it's been a long time since I've done an original research, and we have partnered with a 4-year institution near us and a faculty member there who's also an organizational psychologist that I've had a great partnership with for many years. And we're launching an uncertainty initiative where we're now looking at our data coming in about how all of us are navigating through uncertainty. And that just, again, gives me a deeper dive into something in my space. I like us to think about what's adjacent to our space, right? And so what are we focused on, but what are the other things that are feeding into it that may just stretch your thinking in a new way? So as a business, that just continues to give us new opportunities to go back out to our clients, new opportunities to go back to our raving fans on social media. It gives us some data to pull from that we can do different things from, and partnerships. I think in the speaking community, there's some benefit right now to teaming up. Like two of us who want some content to go back out to our audiences with, jump on a Zoom, do a recording, let them see some of that in action of what you're going to bring to their audience. And I really believe that collaboration piece is a key part in these next coming years. So yeah, my staff would tell you, sometimes I'm 2 years ahead. My brain is 2 years ahead of what we can actually do right now, because I love the strategy part of it. But we're excited about the original research coming up. We're excited about the new collaboration and some evolving conversations that affect my core clients and the people who count on us the most.
Oh, that's so good. And I love your innovative way of getting that original research. And for those of you who are newer speakers, you may be saying, research, what? Now I have to do research, but original research is one of those foundational pillars that's going to really contribute to your intellectual property, which allows you to earn more fees, earn higher fees, get booked more, and really be known for a certain topic. Dr. Peerman, are you looking to be known for uncertainty? Is that like a term that you're going to go for?
It really is. And it's come up recently in our discussions around the phrase the uncertainty psychologist, and how we're now building content around that, just given the state of, uncertainty has always been there in the human experience. I think we've got some factors right now that are influencing us even more. And when I really looked at the stuff that and I think this is important for all speakers, just lights me up, that gets me excited, that wants me reading the articles, I'm like, oh, because it's been part of our work, but it now gives me a deeper dive, and to be able to go, okay, it fuels me again is really what it's doing, right? It's gotten me excited about something again. And I think we all need that refresh every so often, because we know this can be rinse and repeat way too easily. And early on in my career, I had a mentor who said, and again, you can use this timeline any different way, but you can have 10 years of experience speaking, or you can have the same year repeated 10 times. If you're just pulling the same content and delivering that, you're not refreshing it. So find the things that you're excited about, read in your industry, but outside of your area of expertise, because the other thing we need to be able to do these days is get great ideas from anywhere, make them yours always, but then figure out how that's going to fuel your next step.
Well, I love that. And I think that is a great place to end our conversation, because I think that's one of the most powerful aspects of the speaking business for ourselves, is this constant ability to refuel, to get excited. And exactly as you're saying, if you find that you're not excited to get out of bed every morning and learn more about your craft, about your body of knowledge, about the message you're sharing with people, maybe it's time to tweak. Maybe it's time to have a little repositioning there.
And learn something new. That'll give you that boost.
Well, great. Well, Dr. Peerman, if folks want to contact you, what's the best way?
certainly would invite conversations or just ways that I can help support you. Find me on LinkedIn, Dr. Celina Peerman, as well as the website, www.drcelinapeerman.com.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much and appreciate your support of NSA and speakers. Go to nsaspeaker.org to get more information about how the National Speakers Association can help you build your speaking business.
Your NSA community is waiting for you. Join NSA today. Click the link below and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and download this podcast wherever you listen.